My name is Chuck Whitman, and I build great traders that lead great lives. Traders I've trained have generated in excess of $1 billion in trading revenue and are found in some of the largest hedge funds and proprietary trading firms in the United States. From vision to victory, Jake Paul's manifestation story. The hot topic this week has been Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They had the big fight on Friday night. And although a lot of people were disappointed with the outcome, I think there's an important lesson. There's an important story to examine here, which is what Jake Paul is actually doing. Now, so many people hate Jake Paul, and I've been in that camp too. Seems like the idea of him being a professional fighter is ridiculous, and everybody's been rooting for somebody to come along and just kick his ass. But if we step back for a moment and we look at what Jake is actually doing, there's some fantastic lessons for us in our own lives. Now, imagine if I'd come to you in 2019, and I started telling you about this YouTuber, this Disney Channel guy, Jake Paul, who 5 years later would have one of the biggest boxing gates in U.S. history as he fought Mike Tyson. You'd be like, what are you talking about? What planet are you from? There's no way. So that alone is insane. They were selling seats for $2 million at ringside for the fight Friday night. Next, he's fighting Mike Tyson. How did that even happen? Mike Tyson's 58 years old. He hasn't fought in over 20 years. Nobody ever would have thought that happened. Next, he did it on Netflix, and there were so many people watching that Netflix's servers crashed. They couldn't keep up with the people logging on. Whoever would have thought this would have happened? This is an incredible story. It is the epitome of manifestation. It is the epitome of being clear about what you want and then going out and making it happen. These lessons can be applied to anywhere in our lives, and it really shows us that honestly, anything is possible. So let's look at this story a little bit so we can see what makes it go. Now, first and foremost, one of the reasons that Jake has been able to be so successful, people look at him as a boxer, but they're actually missing the most important point, and that is Jake Paul is a marketer. He understands how to market. He understands how to promote. He understands how to create a compelling storyline. He understands how to create villains and heroes. And he's more than comfortable to be the villain. So many people hate him, and guess what they all do? They all watch his fights. Now, the next thing is he's clear about what he wants. What's interesting is he knows what he wants, but he's actually not been sure about how to get there. And this is one of the big lessons. We're so focused on the how. And when we're focused on the how, this is where the ego loves. The ego loves it when you engage in the how. Because when you're asking the how, you very quickly get to the point where like, I can't do that. There's no way I can make that happen. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough skill. Look at Jake's story. I've never boxed. I'm not ever going to get a promoter to hire me. I'm a YouTuber. I'm too young. Yada, yada, yada. There's all these excuses that he could have as to why he could never do it. The how does two things. It's the realm of the ego that makes it easy to shut us down. And the second thing is the how we can get too caught up in the how, and then we create what we call attachment. And attachment is we're so fixated it has to happen in a certain way. And when it does not happen in the way that we expect, we freak out. Like, oh, this isn't going to happen, and we quit. Or we get frustrated. We bang our head against the wall. Like, it has to happen this way. We get so angry because we don't make progress. What we need to be clear about is what we want and release the how. Let the how go. The answers will come. My own belief, my hows are often divinely guided. So if we look at Jake Paul, one of the things is that he was not attached to how he got there. So if you look at his fights, he fought other YouTubers and he fought athletes. That's kind of where he started. Then he started fighting MMA guys. Then he fought real professional boxers. And he went back to MMA. And he's been moving back and forth, but he's been examining each opportunity. He's been flexible in how he gets there. But all along, he's had one goal. And that goal is to be a world champion. He's been flexible how to get there. And I want you to understand that this is actually a big part of his genius. He did not go through the traditional routes. See, we get in our mind going to the how, we get in our mind that things have to happen in a certain way. There's only a certain path. So if I want to be a boxer, well, I have to go be a Golden Glove boxer. And then from Golden Gloves, then I have to go turn professional, and I have to get an agent, and I have to have so many fights before I can fight for a championship. He went at this a very different way. He wasn't bound by, well, I have to fight at a certain weight class. He wasn't bound by, I have to fight a certain type of fighter. So he fought big guys. He fought little guys. He fought old guys. He fought young guys. He fought boxers. He fought YouTubers. He fought MMA guys. And the whole time, one of the things you could see is he was always building a story and then marketing the story. Build a story, market the story. Build a story, market the story, right? Build a story, talk some shit about somebody that's a professional fighter. And they're like, well, I'm going to kick your ass. And he's like, well, you can't do it, right? And he starts going back and forth. And then everybody wants him to lose because you're a YouTuber. You're going to beat Nate Diaz. You're going to beat Anderson Silva. What are you talking about? Right? So I want you to notice that he did not do this in the conventional way. He's been building his fights all over the map in terms of weight classes, fighters, styles, so forth. But all the while moving towards his goal, knowing that if he got visible enough, if he had enough success, if he kept upping the fights, eventually he'd get to a position where he could fight for a championship. The next part about this is a part that is really important. Jake Paul loves being a boxer. He loves boxing. He loves the process. I saw an interview with him where he talked about he had a 15,000 square foot home in Calabasas. He sold that house. Sometimes the happiest he is when he's in a gym, when he's in a ring, when he's in a place that smells, when he's in a place that's dark, when he's in a place that's cold or a place that's warm. It's not a high-end place. I'm sure he trains in some great facilities, but he's in the fight. He's in the thick. He's in the grind. And he loves it. This is what I call the love of the game. When I sit down with prospective students, one of the things I'm always grilling them on is what I call the love of the game clause. I got this from Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did something very unique. When Michael Jordan was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, at that time, their best player was a guy named Gene Banks from Duke. And that year, when Michael Jordan was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, Gene Banks was playing in a pickup game in the park in the summer, and he tore his ACL. And the Bulls' stance was, well, you were playing in a non-sanctioned game, so we're not going to pay you. Your contract is null and void. So when Michael Jordan negotiated his contract, he put in what was called the love of the game clause, and it was unique at that time. Essentially, what the love of the game clause said was this: I have the right to play whenever I want, wherever I want, and with whoever I want. And you have to pay me no matter what. So if I tear my ACL in a summer pickup game, you got to pay me the full value of my contract. And this is because I love the game and I want the right to play wherever I want to play, with whoever I want to play, whenever I want to play. And Michael Jordan was famous for showing up in random pickup games with people that did not play in the NBA. Walk into a gym, call next, hop in the game, play 2 or 3 games, and bolt. People never see him again. Jake Paul loves boxing. He loves the process. He loves the learning. He loves the training. So we want to manifest something. We have to create a vision. This vision needs to be felt. It needs to be in our neurology. We need to visualize it. We need to feel it. We need to hear it, smell it, touch it, and put it into our neurology. And we need to act as if it is already done. So if we want to be a world champion, we have to act like we're a world champion. We ask ourselves the questions of what would a world champion do? And that's what we do. Then as we're manifesting, as we're acting as if, we're flexible in the process, such that if we need to detour and take another course, that's what we do. If it's an unconventional route, that's what we do. We don't care. Then we have to love the process, love the work, because you have to do the work. There's just no way around this. We can visualize it, but then we have to go do it. And then anything is possible. He's been able to have so much success because he understands marketing and promotion. So every day he is pushed. Every day he is pressed to become the best version of himself. I love his story. I do. Because it's like so many things in life. The people who have massive success, they're often hated by so many people. They're often surrounded by skeptics, people that take shots at them. you didn't deserve this and you're not good enough for this and who do you think you are, and they're rooting for you to fail. But it doesn't matter what they think. It never matters what they think, because in the end it's just you. My belief is just you and God, and for a time it might be you, your spouse, and God. The reality is just you and God, and you have to be comfortable with who you are, and you have to be comfortable with what you're about, and that's it. No one else matters. This is an incredible story, and it's one we can take into trading. Any of you have the potential to be a great trader, but the path to get there may not be the way you think. It may be unconventional. So are you willing to love the process? Are you willing to create the vision? Are you willing to manifest it? Are you willing to go out and get the best coaches, the best classes, the best training? Are you willing to stress yourself? Are you willing to take positions that make you nervous? They're big enough to make you sweat. If you are, you can find that path that's true to you. You can manifest the trader that you want to be. So what day is it? Yeah, it's Tuesday. And we know it's not just any Tuesday. It's Trader Tip Tuesday. And Trader Tip Tuesday, I come to you with tips like today with Jake Paul and manifesting to help you become the greatest trader you can be, to help you take your performance to an elite level. So I will see you next Tuesday.